In the work session for 3:30. So good to see you gracing us. Missed you.
Miss being here.
Disappointed to see that you already ran off your assistant.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate that.
Couldn't let it go there too easy. All right, I think when we left off last, the county presented its position, made it stated, and I guess the cities, do y'all have any presentations or anything y'all want to present?
Well, one thing, is sort of the little bit of the philosophical for all of us. I think we're all pretty privileged to be here, represent all the citizens of the county. And I think, we've demonstrated our ability to discuss things civilly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been, a good process. I think we'd all like to demonstrate to Camden County that we all work together. You know, we have our differences, but we can come to a resolution. I think and I believe everybody here, we'd like to just get this done today.
I could be happier. I don't take any of it personally. I think we're all pretty, thick skinned. Where'd Phyllis go?
She should be online.
Joining us online.
Oh, I started to say, she's CPA. You gotta be
No.
thick skinned to be one of us, I assure you. Throw a little political stuff in there. You wrapped in platinum. So we don't, it's just, and we all represent, we're all here representing our electors. And I think we're all trying to do what we feel is best for all of us. So I couldn't agree more. I would like to get to a resolution and, we gave the last presentation and has the cities, y'all got anything to say or want to move the needle or what?
Because of my ignorance of not being here at our last meeting, because my wife, and you weren't here, I apologize for that.
I won't hold that against you, buddy.
Yeah, okay. Where is the county right now?
We left, the last meeting was 53.41. We came in at 58 something. And I think at that time, I think that's when the cities came back and said we should have started at 50. With that being said, they said we offer 40 and the cities would divvy up the 60. We've looked at that a little bit. On this thing right here, anyway, if anybody wants to get into that, we can, but there's,
Well, and I need to be corrected, please. But I thought the conversation had gone down the path of, recognizing there were some changes that need to be done in the calculation of the 8 criteria number. And I think we were looking for you to come back because you'd recognize the fact that maybe some of those numbers weren't quite
what?
calculated right. And so I think our expectation is you've got another number for us based on recalculating that.
Y'all got a what?
Is that what?
Yeah, that's what I'm understanding.
Y'all have another number?
No, we were expecting another number from you all.
Yeah, because we left it that you were going to crunch some numbers again and come back. That's what I thought I heard.
That's correct.
Okay, well,
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
certainly.
just kind of throw this out there for conversation purposes. We being the cities do recognize the fact that the 8 criteria, we understand what each one of them means. And I think even 10 years ago when that was done, if you look at the percentages and some of that criteria was followed. I think we're at a point now that we need to kind of say, we acknowledge the 8, we don't agree with the numbers. And if we try to get into trying to work around those numbers, we're gonna be here for 2 months. And I don't think that's what anybody in this room wants. I think all of us have agreed and in the past and have demonstrated in the past of being able to work together and talk to one another and come and satisfy and meet the needs of our community. So saying that, why can't we start where we're at presently and work from there? In discussions. If that makes any sense whatsoever. Instead of beating it back and forth. With the 8 criteria.
We're at 46 county.
Right.
24/6, 26/4.
You're talking about starting at where we're standing now, 46?
Yes, sir.
And 24, 26, and 3.
Well, if we get,
You talking about where we're currently at?
yes, where we're currently at, I think the cities are in agreement that once we understand what the county is willing to accept, the cities will meet real quick and come up with a solution for our side that we're all agree upon, and we'll go from there. Am I wrong, Mr. Mayor?
No, I agree. We were looking to show up today to understand the number that the county
The 53 or?
cutting everything, and let's just look at what is it that the county needs?
From my point of view, is, we need to try and even out the lost benefit for all taxpayers. Right now, the unincorporated taxpayer is not getting nowhere near the equal benefit as the people in the cities. Because the county has to roll back countywide, then the cities each roll back. So the unincorporated person sees the less of a benefit.
They get one rollback.
Well, that's how it works if you're in an unincorporated area. That's exactly why it's that way. They can choose to come into a city if they want to and benefit from such.
Well, that cuts both ways. That's a double-bladed sword. I think, as I understand, the intent of the legislation is there needs to be some equity in the benefit for each of the taxing entities rollbacks. Where are those, where's that chart at? I don't have
There's
it.
a chart somewhere that shows that
Right.
unincorporated gets like a $60 benefit and the people in the cities get a lot larger.
And this is the chart. It shows we get 16% reduction. for the
Exactly.
county. That's
Currently, the county, and this is countywide, gets a 16.8% percentage rollback from lost. Kingsland gets 37.9. St. Mary's gets 39.4. Woodbine gets 79.4. Now, I know there's some relativity involved in there. Woodbine's numbers are much smaller. 50% of $1 is one thing, 50% of 500 is a different number, so percentages sometimes aren't all telling. But, nonetheless, the disparity, we're less than half of a countywide benefit from lost than the other two major cities. The intent of this, lost rollback stuff was to be more equitable for everyone. Whereas, which it's not. I think it's clearly stated, because when we give a rollback, it's everybody. We don't differentiate whether it's St. Mary's, Woodbine, Kingsland, the county, or whatever. Our rollback, everything we do affects everybody. And we've had this out. I'll be happy to tell you services that the county provides that we're mandated that aren't being provided by anyone else. But it's just, we can justify what we're talking about. But I get it, you know, these numbers that we have to sit, we can work out what we want to. You know, just like when y'all got together and said, y'all take 40, we'll take 60, and y'all divvied it up like you wanted to. I do know that in looking at the chart that you put out, on that, which is right, what is it? Right here. Even on this chart right here, when y'all, just look for me. Okay. Woodbine would go from 3 to 1.41. Which would be almost a little over 50% reduction, just based on what y'all put out here. Y'all also included in this calculation here, the unincorporated, which would further dilute the city share. Because the unincorporated for the county is included up here, but, you know, when the county again, but, you know, so in other words, we, you know, the unincorporated was 15.62, which, would put us, if we set at 50%, that would give us another 7.81%, would put us at 57.81 based on what you did here. So I gather, you know, I guess I left with the impression that when y'all came out with this, we put out our number of 53.5, and I was kind of under the thinking that, y'all was gonna look at it and say, all right, it seems like the cities are working together, great. And come back to the county and say, this is what we can and can't do. I mean, can we do something different? Sure, we all can. And it's like I stated the first time, when we came out here the first meeting, y'all said we should have started at 50, but here's 40. We had 58. I said, all right, we both given out unrealistic numbers. We have now set the parameters of the football field. Nobody's gonna have to negotiate in between. Obviously, we're not gonna go 40, and you're not gonna go 58. We all agree on that, pretty much. We came, and then when we got this, we said, okay. We had these, let's see, this was the scenarios that y'all provided. Scenario 1, 2, and 3 where it's 50% true population, and which it states right there, 1.41.
This.
Huh?
Sean did that.
Right. Okay, that's right. We took it from this,
But that's off of
the population thing.
what y'all provided.
Right. And if I'm not mistaken, I think y'all's intent between the cities was trying to keep Woodbine's number up a little higher. Based on your numbers, it's not doing that. Now, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the cities could get together and as far as one after we want, y'all want to negotiate amongst yourself on a different percentage. I don't care. And I'm sitting here and I'm contemplating, you know, do I want to go to arbitration and spend another month or so doing this?
No.
No. No, none of us do. But, you know, so you want the counties, what you want the county's hard number in the line in the sand is what you're asking for.
Yes.
All right?
You know, just Gary, kind of observationally, looking at this, and it took about 3 different loss negotiations, but if you go back about 30 years, you know, there was 43 and then 50,
57.
and then it ended up at the last negotiation at 46. And based on,
And I got blamed for that, trust me.
I don't know that that's a blame. I think that.
No, I mean, from the county's perspective.
Well, I thought that was based on, you know, balancing out and kind of adjusting based on what you saw over decades. And that's why I think, we've found a comfortable spot that works for everybody that we feel is fair. And that number is continuing in the future, I think makes sense. And, we really need to, I think, get everybody to swallow hard and say, all right, I may want more, but I can definitely have more than enough revenue coming off of this that everybody can take part in this. And I think that gets back to the story about demonstrating to everybody. I think it's what Robbie said is based on some history. It's a fair number. Everybody's been able to work with it in the past. We have. Would we like more? Yes, but got the finance people here, and we made it work, and I think we can make it work again with that number, Gary.
And I understand, and over the last 2 years, we've all looked at it. And I've looked at what the county's needs are, what the county's expenses are, and what the county's demands are, and I've looked at it prospectively where we are. And this is stuff that affects the county countywide, things that the county does. Sheriff's office, public safety stuff, courthouse. I mean, I can sit here and go down a list of things and services that the county has to provide. And, we're getting hammered and we're falling behind. So it's going, we're looking at trying to, stay as equitable as we can. And I understand, and I felt like from the beginning that y'all would probably like to stay where it is, realistically. We would like to have more than 58. But, after listening to it and after talking about it, we came back, all right, we'll go to 53. All right, and when we left it last, and you look at your numbers and see what you can go to. I can give you a number that we can go to. But after that, that's where we are. So we'll sit there and try to make it a chess game. I'd rather we could all get an agreement on it. And we've got a presentation for it. But, we either agree or we don't agree on it.
You have a presentation for what?
For the
Hard line number?
hard line up.
Do we really need a presentation?
I don't know, do you?
I don't think so.
I think we do.
I think we need to have a conversation. That's what we do best.
That's what we do. Well, we've got the presentation, the justification, all this stuff, and we've looked at these numbers and populations, and, we've looked at the daytime populations and all this stuff, but, when it gets down, we still have mandated services that entities do not provide, that we provide countywide. Our bottom line number is 50.5, I'll tell you. And I don't know what that does with everybody else. Like I said, at 50.5, cities we've got charts to show how it should go based on the same scenario we got, or the cities can agree to divvy that up, the difference up, however they collectively agree to do. And we can put that into dollar values for everybody if you want. But to make it short and sweet, that's where we are.
Okay. Let me ask a question. At 40 or at 50.5 or everything, trying to remember. Does that also take into consideration the fact of Woodbine and the buildings that they have that the county occupies in the city of Woodbine,
Yeah.
that they lose tax revenue on?
We all lose tax revenue on you lose tax revenue on municipal buildings in your cities. We lose the tax revenue as well in the cities of Kingman, St. Mary's, and Woodbine. If you want to address Woodbine more specifically, it was brought up last time about the prisoners. I can be glad to go into you about what we pay the city of Woodbine for the county seat to be here. I think we've well demonstrated that when you look at the millage rate, city of Woodbine gets a 79% benefit from lost negotiations. The city of Woodbine benefits heavily. They're the only entity in the county that their daytime population goes up. Why? Because the county's here. The restaurants, all the retails that are here are largely contingent upon activity generated by the sheriff's office, the county here, and the courthouse. I mean, it's, so I get your point, but we all got that. It's just like we were talking about, that somebody was bringing up water and sewer. Well, that's not even part of this. Water and sewer does not enter into this at all. Plus, we do pay, I think what we pay a year, what some of the stuff was it? You remember?
I don't have that off the top of my head
Okay.
now. Sorry, Gary.
So, I mean, I'm not trying to throw Woodbine under the bus or anybody under the bus. You start talking about, well, we're gonna move this or move this out of Woodbine, Woodbine will go crazy. No, don't do that. We don't wanna lose that. Let's be real. I realize the county still is here, but without the population, daytime population that comes into Woodbine because of the county seat being here, you look at the restaurants downtown, they're only open when the county's open. Except for Cap Stands.
That's not
And
true. That's not true.
while we understand that respectfully, Chairman Blunt, fact still remains that, yes, no, you are correct, water and sewer you pay for. However, we've got streets and roads, we've got street lights, sidewalks, storm drain management. We handle all of that due to the influx of the population that comes in daily to your county buildings, for which we cover in our budget every year. We receive no revenue for that.
I'm honestly not that familiar with Woodbine's budget.
It,
Doesn't matter.
across the board, it would be the same. I mean, I'm pretty certain, like you said, there are things that you provide that if the money wasn't there, you would still have to provide it regardless.
Well, as a counterpoint to that, look at the service that the county does for Woodbine that the Woodbine doesn't have to do. Public safety, period.
But the county provides that public safety for everyone.
We're backups. I think it's safe to say for Kingsland and St. Mary's. We're not first responders in Kingsland and St. Mary's. I think that's a given. Had that discussion. We're the fire department.
And we pay a fire district for that for every person that pays property taxes every year.
And what was that?
It was about 23,000.
About $23,000 for a year. I can assure you that does not begin to cover our fire department. I know I can look back 20 years, almost 20 years ago, 17 years ago. One fire department, just one station is gonna cost you over $500,000 a year to operate. So the city of Woodbine benefits greatly. And more importantly, the citizens of Woodbine have exponentially benefited far greater than any other entity in the county. I mean, it's just a fact. I mean,
Our
Had it out
citizens
while
are
ago.
not rolling in money. The reason that our millage rate is what it is because unfortunately, we have large elderly population, a large population that is low income. These are facts. So this is the reason when we sit down every year to do our budget, we have to take that into consideration. What you're asking us to accept, we're looking at at least a 7 mil increase that I know my citizens cannot sustain that hit. They can't.
And yes, we do benefit for the county, being the county seat. Yes, we do. But there's still other things that county needs to consider as far as Woodbine is concerned. I mean, she's explained it well.
and I do hear you and I do understand what you're saying, but it's still not to get the benefits that the city of Woodbine get from the county far outweigh any impact of roads and streets or anything like that.
Beg to differ.
Yet we still have to maintain
I mean, I can't sit here and enumerate how many streets that the county's impacted, but it's not that many relative to the city. And then the main roads are state roads. It was like the argument that was put forth about the interchanges around the interchanges around Woodbine, those are maintained by the states.
But you don't turn directly from the interchanges and come straight into a county building. You have to turn off onto our city roads, which have to be maintained.
We turn off on what now?
You don't turn off an interchange to come directly to the building. You don't turn off the interchange and you're automatically at that building. You still have to turn off and you have to access city roads in
I
order to
don't
get to
disagree.
county building.
There's a couple city roads that technically we have to affect. I mean, I don't know how to put a dollar value on that. But
You know, I'm listening to all this, and again, I'm trying to not get too philosophical, but I think part of the interesting thing about the whole discussion and what we're facing is the fact that the cities and the counties are now in I think, a real positive growth mode. It's not like we've been bumping along. And, you know, if you look at the projects in Kingsland, the recovery things that happened in St. Mary's and the soon to be kickoff of some projects that are going to require a lot more infrastructure support in the future. And it's not that they don't exist in the counties either, but that I think the nucleus and the intensity of the growth is in the cities right now. And part of it is we need to anticipate the projection over the next 10 years of what it is that we're going to need and why we need what we do, because we got to be able to handle that. And these funds are going to help us handle the growth trajectories that we're facing right now and we're going to face in the future, because they're coming. And I think they're stronger in the cities and more intense, and that we're going to require a lot more assets to be able to get us there. And so it's not just that this one point in time that we're dealing with, it's for the 10-year horizon that we're dealing with. So that's why I think the number, we proved that we can work with that number before. And, but I know they don't like the budget constraints that, you know, I might be putting out there with that number. But, and I welcome kickback that you don't like the number or whatever, but from either side. But I do think that from my standpoint, what's going to happen with that growth trajectory is very important, that we make sure that we can handle it, not only in the county, but particularly in the cities where the density and the intensity is going most.
And I do understand, and it's all relative. When the cities grow, the county grows. We're the county. The services from the county that are mandated grow as well. We all understand that. And at the 46, we have fallen behind, you know, with some of this stuff. So it's just, so when I tell you 50.5, you're saying, you know, what about the city of Woodbine? You know, if we want to sit here and agree to, we each give up something to Woodbine to bring them up.
One other thing is, a lot of the roads that all of us maintain, a lot of that funding comes from SPOS.
Correct. And
Yeah,
our
it's not
spots
in
at the
every
last
case.
negotiation.
I'm not saying in every case, I said a lot of it.
Hey,
Well,
I assure you,
St.
we
Mary's-
lost those, but we don't do the, they don't do it like they used to. And all that T stuff went out. You know, we kind of collectively thought, well, unlike Ware County, who ended up with what do you call it?
T-Splosh.
T-Splosh. being up 2%, T-Splosh. They ought to have gold line roads in Ware County. You know, they ended up with their local and the regional. Believe me, it has, we've got miles, I don't know how many miles, I wish Shalana was here, I don't know how many miles of roads that we have to maintain. You know, and some of it's in the lessly populated, poor income people, lower income, disadvantaged people, whatever. But we have to maintain, you know, those roads as well, paved, dirt roads, whatever they are. We would like to get more of our roads paved, which we haven't been able to because we didn't do the T-spots. We didn't feel like that, you know, and I don't think y'all disagree. We'd rather, we certainly one of the, splots that we got, we felt like trying to go for two would be, might end up losing them both. I don't know. It was just a,
Well,
You've got 300 going on.
yeah, we've got 300, we maintain 300 miles of roads. Sorry.
55.6%.
Right, we're over half the roads in the county that we maintain. So we understand that and we do. Now, if y'all want to sit down here and I might be speaking a little bit out of turn. Y'all want to sit here and give Woodbine something to help? As she said, I don't know how it would affect the millage rate. She says it'd be 7, 8 mills. And like I said, 50% of a dollar is one thing, 50% of a bigger number is less. But,
Chairman, if I can, there is one other issue that we haven't really discussed at all in the past, even in, the county, we have homestead freeze. We're the only ones that have that.
I was just about to get into that, and that's something that doesn't affect the cities.
It wasn't our doing. I mean, it was a state senator from years ago, but
Well, I guess in a way it was the county doing, so somehow it got on
The
and
voters-
the county, the citizens of Camden County voted in. We get homesteaded, so when you're looking at that digest and you see the current value, you're like, woo, woo. We are applying our millage rate to it. We don't get that. We lose, I wish,
I think last time we figured it, and this has been probably 3 or 4 years ago, since it was enacted, I think it's been about $18 million in actual revenue, like real revenue loss. And again,
Yes.
that's
and we're and
Full
that,
time for
and
operators.
that exemption is growing every day as, you know, as population ages, as time goes by, because those properties, you know, we got properties that were frozen back in what, 2006 or 7?
2006.
2006. So if you've been in your home since 2006,
If you homesteaded.
if you homesteaded, well, if you didn't, I got no shame on you.
There's a few out there that did.
Well, that's their problem.
But how much have we seen in appraisal values change in this past year in particular, last 3 years from the county?
That's just it.
It's
That's
significant.
just it. The homestead, if you're homesteaded, it's
All
frozen.
those that aren't homesteaded.
the homestead for us, even it's like, you're talking about the reappraisals.
That's right.
If they're homesteaded, we
That
don't get
doesn't
any
affect
benefit
that.
from it.
Get no benefit.
About
The
those that aren't.
cities would, but the county would not.
I don't know how many folks are not homesteaded, what kind of, it's not many.
So when the,
And if they didn't do it, they went and got homesteaded and they eventually got frozen. They may not have been frozen in 6. They may not have gotten frozen until 9. But the freeze takes place at whatever point in time they do it. And once it's done, it stays. And those exemptions are drastically affecting us and growing each year. So we're sliding down, the digest is going up. You know, the only benefit we get is new construction or if somebody buys and sells. That's it. If you've been in your home, the only way your county taxes are going up if the millage rate goes up.
Well, I'll jump out because I hate to spin wheels. City of Kingsland can't agree to 50.5. I just go ahead and throw that out there. And I don't want to spend another 2-3 hours sitting here if that's where we're going to be. And that's not to disparage anyone or, you know, it's just, that number will not work for the city of Kingsland.
Well, so say Kingsland.
the bottom line is that it's not just Woodbine that's gonna have to increase their millage rate.
I understand.
It's gonna be every municipality in here.
We all gonna have to.
Well, at 50, I don't know why y'all would. And being
Believe-
honest, and my statement kind of goes along with what the mayor has said, you know, with the development, the growth that's happening right now, the value of the percentage is going to increase more than any of us in this room has presently budgeted in the upcoming year if it continues on the trend it's on. Now, we all know the reality of it, that can turn at a drop of a hat. So do we really want to put this on the back of every taxpayer in this county? Or do we want to know or maintain a percentage that we are currently at, that we're all budgeted, have done our budgets to meet, I guess is the right way to say it? Or we can make our budgets with what we currently have and be able to speculate on that.
Robbie, I will say that if, you know, even at the 50.5, the county, we have to take the rollback based off of whatever lost revenues we get, same as y'all, each of the cities have to do. So the citizens in the city would get a benefit. Now, depending upon what benefit it would get versus your tax base versus ours countywide, you know, you'd have to extrapolate that somehow, but we would still have to roll back our millage rate. And it would benefit every citizen in the county, not just those in the unincorporated.
The citizens of St. Mary's would get a county rollback, just like the citizens of Kingsland do.
Okay, and being respectful, Gary, and I'm gonna pull an old card out of an old hat.
I understand.
When you sit in that seat, they give, excuse my language, they don't give a rat's patootie about what the county's charging. All they see is what that city tax is.
I understand. They see what taxes are.
And I get it.
And-
Why can't we be equitable and work through it and maintain where we're at to where there's not an effect for every taxpayer in this county? I mean, you're talking the county, and I keep hearing you, and I understand your position. Please let me say that, okay? This is all with true respect for each one of you. Keep using the terms, the county, the county, the county. Well, you know what? We're all the county.
I agree.
And I think we all need to be cognizant of that every member, whether you're in Kingsland, whether you're in St. Mary's or Woodbine, or in an unincorporated area, you're a part of Camden County. I recognize that. So why are we gonna start juggling, taking from Peter to pay Paul and playing this game when we know we can function in the world we're seeing with the percentages that we're seeing and the value of those percentages increasing? Why can't we stay where we're at, where we're comfortable present? And I'm not, I mean, no disrespect whatsoever,
I'll take it
but
personally.
that doesn't, it just, because if you toe the line and we don't give, well, if you toe that line, we're all going to have to increase our taxes, our tax base. I get the role, but I understand all, but the average taxpayer does not understand me.
And,
I want to be fair and
Not to
equitable
be
across
ugly,
the
but I
board.
found the average taxpayer doesn't understand a lot of things.
oh,
I'm
You know,
not going
you
there.
may find, you may get to talk to some, but most people do not ever get down that far in the weeds of anything. They hear their tax bill
Yes, sir.
and. you
But
know,
if we can
collectively.
function under the way we are currently, why would we need to do anything else?
Because the county, when we look at prospectively what we going up, we know we're not gonna be able to continue. We know our exemptions are declining, you know, even though, as we stated earlier, the digest may be incrementing up, we're not getting that benefit. Every increment, everything's a benefit that the digest goes up, we're not getting near the benefit that the cities get from the increased value of the digest. Because ours are frozen, as we stated. And I understand what you're saying, that, well, we're functioning in it now,
But the increase on commercial side, Gary, there's not a homestead exemption there. We're seeing commercial growth. We're talking about in the city of St. Mary's, I've got two businesses that are coming in. One's 300,000 square foot, one's 150,000 square foot. And I've got more, they're making calls today on more of that property. And I'm, not- you know, and we've got all these.
I'll sing that song, which
But
that's why
that-
I've been pushing. I want more commercial business. Because
Absolutely.
it takes the burden, that's the whole intent, is to take the burden off the residential rooftops. You
Absolutely.
know, because if we're not growing our commercial base, everything is shifting to residential. And that's
Absolutely.
the problem. That's where we've been.
You and I've had that discussion and I
You know,
wholeheartedly
and
agree with
I
you.
don't disagree with you.
But I don't, to say that you're not seeing it, I don't get it, because when those businesses come in, y'all are getting the taxes that we haven't been collecting, just like we are.
The best way
On
you
the-
can see
on
your numbers
commercial.
grow is to let us thrive. We all know that. We're thriving now. Allow us to continue to thrive and watch the county continue to grow.
Well, let me just say this. No, I certainly don't want to inhibit the thriving of any city. And I think the county's demonstrated it repeatedly through the JDA and the efforts that we've done. You know, especially with the old Gilman property and projects that we've done around Kingman, where we've underwritten and supported and promoted it. That's county. That's all. And we certainly want to, you know, enhance and attract folks to cities of St. I don't care which city, all of them. It's okay to me, whether it comes to the cities, the counties, or which city, I want it to come. And, you know, we all benefit from it, I agree. But when you looking at from a tax standpoint, you know, the total tax bill is what commercial people are gonna look at. They're not gonna look at just Kingsland rates or St. Mary's rate, but they know there's a county bill too. And, you know, if they're coming in through some, something that the JDA or somebody that we're bringing, where in all probability, we're probably enticing them to come in with something. You know, some benefit for them to get up here that affects the county as well. So it's not, you know, I can give you numbers just like with the city of St. Mary's on Jacoby thing. You know, just 10.6 million on the bonds, wasn't it?
That's
On the
remaining.
Jacoby? I can't remember the top of my head here.
Say it again, Gary.
Wasn't it 10.6 million originally to do the closing on Jacoby?
It was north of 10 million, I know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
know that.
I can't tell you, but
10.3,
the number, you know,
Over
plus or
10.
minus a little bit.
you know, that was JDA, and that was county underwriting. So we're putting our digest on the line for it. You know, which, you know, we do the same, you know, and that's basically what we've told the JDA. You bring us a project. No, we weren't interested in giving you funding so you could build up a $10 million working fund over the general fund in your accounts. But you bring us a project, you know, you've got money, you bring us a project that's worthy, we'll go with you, whatever it takes. And, you know, we've honored that every time. They understand that. So, no, we
And we
want the
understand.
cities and the counties to thrive.
And Gary, I
And the
understand.
county has made substantial investments in both cities to do that. And, you know, but we also have to look at, we've got aging courthouses, we've got a sheriff's office over here that's, oh, we got to have a new jail, we got to have a new jail, we got to, you know. You're looking at $40-50 million for that. You know, it's like I told Jim 2 years ago. You know, they kept people keep talking about SPLOST. I said, Jim, I'm just gonna tell you the truth about it. SPLOST will never build you a jail. Ain't gonna happen. Why? On our next SPLOST, we come back, okay, cities, by the way, our tier 1 project this year is gonna be the sheriff's office for a $40 million jail. Well, that's gonna suck all the oxygen out of the room. You'll be like, we ain't gonna get nothing. And we agree. I understand that. That would be devastating. It wouldn't happen. Now, whether it get voted in or not, I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's just not the way that facility's gonna get built. Are we gonna find ourselves in a position where we have to, whether just from time, or we gonna get a federal judge saying we got to, or whatever, just like with our courthouse, you know, constantly just, You should hear 'em. We're backed up forever. We need another courtroom. We need another judge. We need this. And these courtrooms serve all of St. Mary's, all of Camden County, and all the other functions we do. I'm not trying to harm St. Mary's. I'm not trying to hurt Kingsland. I'm not trying to hurt Woodbine. You know, I see what's coming in Camden County, and, you know, while it went from 57, to 46 or whatever, I know why it went to 57. I know why it went to 46. You had some people in there that, anyway, and while, you know,
Could I ask a accounting question? That's curiosity. I think it's good for all of us because it gets back to sort of my point about the trajectory and, you know, we're not being discreet with year 2022. We're being 12 years or 10 years out. And we need to be thinking about this growth factor, not only of the cities, but also this loss. And I'm still trying to understand what happened in the last 2 years.
what do you mean?
That the lost money just went.
Apparently people weren't taking
Do
vacation,
we-
they were staying
do
at
you
home
know
and
what
they decided to go shopping. I don't know.
Most of it is
Internet sales.
the internet sales tax. That's a big chunk of it.
Right,
Because that was something that started about 2 years ago,
Yeah.
2 years ago.
yeah.
So it increased the number by 50% in 2 years.
That's one factor. I think another factor is just inflation. Lost and Splost are based on a 1%. So as inflation goes up, of course.
I don't know about y'all, when I go to the grocery stores, inflation's contributing a lot to it.
There's been recent reports.
Go to your restaurants, go anywhere.
But unfortunately, the reports we get from the state of Georgia don't break that out. So
They won't give it
it's
to
just a commodity report. So you can't tell that this was the internet sales and this was the.
They won't tell us what specifically.
No, if we're
driving.
gonna have a legislative, project for our senator and our, representative this year, it's to get the Department of Revenue to cough up and tell us what's going on. We should think about that. Sorry.
Let's take
Amen.
I think we should convene or break for a few minutes and.
Y'all wanna have a
let
break?
Cities talk.
Let me make one comment about the JDA and Woodbine, just a minute. I don't know why the city of Woodbine and the JDA doesn't sit down with the property owners out here at this interchange and work out some kind of marketing agreement on it. That would benefit the city of Woodbine greatly and the county as well.
May I speak for just a moment, Mayor? Then you would need to have that conversation with the JDA. It isn't that the city of Woodbine is not receptive to having that conversation. We've actually had,
Absolutely.
Mr. Coughlin at a meeting and have asked, okay, we see that there's growth every place else. We know that there is land within the city of Woodbine that should be able to be utilized. However, we don't usually get those calls for anyone to come here. They normally go to Kingsland or St. Mary's. So if there's any question about that, that would have to be directed to the JDA because it's
Right.
not because the city of Woodbine is not receptive to it.
Y'all have a representative on the JDA board.
Right now, we do not because the person that was, because of COVID, she came and she asked to retire off of it.
Oh, really?
And so we're trying to find another representative for the city of Woodbine.
Ah,
Okay.
And our.
All right, well, we'll get back together.
Wait,
Y'all ready?
10 or 15 minutes, we'll be.
have discussed, and we are comfortable offering county 42% with a 3-year fine to 46%.
Ain't gonna happen, buddy. I mean, y'all want us to stay at 46, now you want us to go to 42 and have an increment? Now, come on, that's not,
What's
that's
your
not,
counter?
that's a counter to what? That's not even offer. Y'all walked out of here offering 46.
I never
Now you
said
want to
that.
start with, well, I mean, I didn't hear anybody disagree with the mayor. So I took it at 46. Y'all said, well, we stay where we are. And y'all was arguing that point as well. Everybody was sitting there arguing, well, why don't we stay where we are? And that's not gonna work for the county either. But going to 42 and incrementing up ain't gonna happen. You wanted we came in here talking about, we left at 53 point whatever. Y'all came in, and said, well, let's do this. I said, all right, we've got a presentation prepared for 50.5. Well, that ain't gonna happen. So let's go talk about it. I said, all right, I'll go talk about it. Well, y'all come back with 42, come on.
Okay, are you comfortable 46 across the board?
No, that's why I said a while ago, no, we're not, because we're sitting here, I'm telling you, we're getting a call right now. Add Superior Court judges, courtrooms, DAs. Do you know how much that is? A lot. Superior Court judges is expensive to operate. I mean, that's just one small part of it. I mean, and it's just, I'm gonna have to come up with something. Y'all wanna come up with something better than that, or what? I mean, I don't know where we go to when y'all,
I think if 46 isn't even on your radar, then, I mean, Kingsland's gone.
well, the Kingsland's gonna what?
Said it done. Are you you said 50.5 was hard line in the sand. Are you willing to negotiate off of that, or are we just spinning our wheels and wasting time?
No, I could negotiate off of that sum, but I'm not going to 46.
Okay.
I mean, we're already at 46 and we incremented down to 46 and we cut our own throats.
I don't know, and not to dispute, not trying to dispute you.
I've been disputed.
I know, and I have disputed you in the past,
Don't stop now, baby.
okay? Even at 46, you're talking about more value to that percentage than what you have
We all are.
in the past. Absolutely.
We all are. It's all
Absolutely.
relative.
And we all have those numbers. We all know what all of our budgets are currently set at. And granted, you have to be conservative with those numbers.
Well,
We can make, though, we know that we can make the existing numbers continue to work as they are.
you asked me what the hard line number was, give me a hard line number. We're giving you several. Okay. All right, but we're steady coming down. Y'all
Well-
steady going down.
No,
we came
we're
up.
up to 46. There we
It
go.
just came back in here and said 42.
Okay, so
And
you've
said-
identified.
I didn't say 46. I said,
No, you said
y'all,
you were
we
ready.
left the room. Y'all left the room, we were at 46. I thought y'all were gonna look at something that's between the 46 and the 50.
Well,
And we're not gonna do that.
Actually, we were looking more like the 40 and the,
Yeah.
actually the 40 and the 51 is what we were really looking at,
40 and what?
between the 40 and the 51. That's what we walked in the door with.
No, I meant this while ago, when we stopped,
I
and
know.
we were at, y'all were saying, well, why don't we just keep where we are? I'm like, I ain't gonna work. Y'all said, well, let's go talk about it. So I was under the assumption that y'all were looking at doing something, because we're not staying at 46. The county can't stay at 46. I mean, I could tell you where I can stay, but, I'd like for y'all to want to get there yourself, so we keep having hard line numbers, but I give you this last number, I can assure you that's where we are, period, without a doubt. And y'all may want to go smoke it over or talk about it or throw dice or play some volleyball or something. 48. 58, no, 48, excuse me. 48. Not 58, 48. We were at 50.5, we'll give up the 2.5, we'll go to 48. And I'm telling you right now, that's it.
We'll go to 46.
Ain't gonna happen.
All right, why don't we do this? Why don't we go, keep it at 46, but increment it up to 50? Or a certain amount of years.
That's real money to the city of Kingsland.
It's real
You
money to
represent the
everybody.
city of Kingsland. Yeah,
It's real
but
money
we're
to-
gonna feel it more than the county's gonna feel.
That's not true. That is not true for any of us. It's all, we're all taxing the same people. It's, you know,
So we're robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Mm-hmm.
But why do it? Why rob Peter to pay Paul when we don't have to?
because Paul needs more. Paul's got to have more.
Well, and we do too.
Correct.
You know, and we're
But we've
willing
been-
to say,
We went down, they went down too far 10 years ago. When we incremented down. So I'm just telling you now that, you know, we had talked about going to 48, incrementing up some. I said, just go on and rip the Band-Aid off. We can handle 48.
44.
Didn't y'all's budget, isn't it 42 or 43% y'all budgeted for this? So y'all know where you have to be
What are you talking about?
in your budget.
What's
Our
it-
current year budget is 46%.
Oh, well, then there's your number. Sounds good.
We have to budget where we currently are, just like everybody else does.
So you know.
Our
where you gotta
budget
be.
is, until we set the millage rate, it ain't done. And we don't set the millage rate here until, what, August, September?
August.
Everything's fluid. We all know that. 48, guys. Y'all want to think about it, whatever. Otherwise, get your list of folks you want to arbitrate with. We got ours. I mean, I'm not trying to be a jackknife, but we don't seem to be down to the meat of the coconut. We're not worried about population and who's doing what where. We're just down to the real numbers here. So that's our real number. So y'all want to go talk about it or fill us a pound sand, we get arbitrators and we'll go from there. Just tell me what y'all want to do.
If you guys are at 48, what about the county gives one to Woodbine and we'll split the other half?
What?
That percentage.
We're giving up 2.5 now to go from our 40.5. We're giving up 2.5.
I mean, 50.5.
The 50.5, yes.
You're actually gaining two because you're at 46 now.
Well, we're talking about the negotiating numbers.
But it's all a gain.
You're gaining two above where you are now,
I understand that.
including the fact that the actual loss numbers have increased over the last 10 years.
They've increased for y'all as well. They've
Correct.
increased for
That's why we
everybody.
generate the money.
Huh?
We're generating the money
Who is we?
that helps the city of
The city.
Kingsland, the city of St. Mary's.
County of Camden County is generating the money.
Right, but again,
I think it's evident that Camden
Peter and
County
Paul.
makes substantial investments in each cities to help promote that. I don't think we could take the position. I don't.
and the cities are,
I think-
just
And
to
the
take
county
that off the
benefits.
table,
But
the
the-
cities are also making investments in it as well.
I think
No
I
argument.
don't disagree. The cities make
So
investments
I
in themselves as
don't
well.
think that is a part of it. I think you're, just like Ms. James is saying, at 47 or whatever number, 46 or 47, you're still seeing an increase.
I understand. 48. Y'all wanted the bottom number? I give you the bottom number. Seriously. But I know what we got coming. We're getting, We're on the phone today. More of it's coming in.
We know what's coming as well. I mean,
I understand.
we're all, we're all gonna experience the same, growth. I think it's gonna be a different type of growth in the cities, right? We're talking about infrastructure, you talked about you have 300 miles of roads. How much of those 300 miles are actually paved roads with sidewalks, which actually, paved with.
I wish we had them. Not maintaining.
Well, I guess the
How
point.
many miles of dirt roads you got?
160 miles.
We got 160 miles of dirt roads.
Well, the point that I'm trying to make is that, we didn't come with a list of all the different things that we've lost money on or trying to make money on. Mr. Horton started out by saying, we're all,
I
Camden
agree,
County.
we are.
I'm coming here with the perception that we're advocating on behalf of all of Camden County. And when we say the county this, the city's this, I think that kind of gets us, off the track a little bit. Fundamentally, what we're looking at, so we're at 46% now. We know that there's been an increase in the revenue that's come in over the last 10 years.
And everybody's enjoyed that.
Sure they have, but what we also heard today was that, well, that loss that you took going down to 46, you haven't made it up yet. And we're saying is, we make up in our budget what we had to make up with the percentages that we've had, and we're asking you basically to do the same thing.
We all got the similar issues, I agree. But I can assure you, the demands of the county are far exceeding what you see that's in these budgets at the moment.
Well, without having to
Because
go,
the number that we're looking at right now, this will only affect half a year for us. Our year starts over July 1. So it's gonna be a half a year impact on us, whatever it is.
there's an impact to all of us. I think
And I don't disagree.
And I don't know that one is any more than the other.
Y'all want to gather up and talk about it, deal with it, I'm fine, but like I told you, we went from 53 to 40, and now you wanted the thing line in the sand. In all seriousness, it's 40. I ain't trying to jerk anybody around 48.
What was that last?
Ben said 48.
Somebody got that report, right?
He knows I'm
That sounds
moderately
good.
senile. I want to think about it, talk about it, whatever, like I said, otherwise we'll do what we gotta do.
One last.
All right, we're gonna go think for a minute.
Go think for a minute. We're here.
Come back with.
We ain't going nowhere.
And actually,
ladies, ladies and fellas. I get first billing,
Thank you.
Okay, what's the number the county said last?
48.
48. Okay. Here's, told us your bottom line, and when we're gonna give you the bottom line.
Okay.
We're willing to do 48, 2-year increment, down by year 6 to 46%.
Going the wrong way.
Do you need that restated?
No, I got him. I'll give you this. We'll go 47 for the quarter increment for 4 years up to 48. Got to get to 48. Tell it.
We're starting at 48.
Think about it.
We're ended at 48. We want, it's the ending of the story.
Although we don't have,
And that gives everybody time to adjust the budgets.
That was, honestly, our best.
can we give you
All right,
that?
Gary, give it to me one more
While
time.
we're saying 48.
They were saying go to what, 48 and in 2 years go down 2 points.
47? No,
No,
48 for 2 years, 47 for 2 years, and then 46 for the remaining 6 years. The thought process around that is that the
And what for the remaining 2 years?
46. What's happening is we are starting out with 48, and we know based off of all of the projects that we all have, that loss number is going to increase over time. Based off of what we have happening commercially, we have
So for
Signed
2
on the
years,
dotted
we're gonna be
line
at
for-
48.
You're gonna be at 48,
2 years.
and then 2 years at 47, and then rest of the time 46.
All right, 2 years, 4 years, so we got 6 years.
Can't do that in his head.
I used to could.
And I'll tell you, they had to put me in a headlock
Yeah.
to get me to come out here, but I know. Ben's known me a long time.
It's hard to deal with, Grayson.
What are you saying when I'm disagreeing with you, Gary?
Oh God, he's fixing to cipher.
So might be my abacus.
I need a calculator, but I don't have it.
Do you need the dollar values of those?
I think they're calculating there.
47 is 600,000. For 2 years, right? Per year.
It's a solid offer that the county is a win, the cities will get by.
Cities get by. I like that.
Take what scraps are left and just go on back and make it awesome. We've been doing it all this time.
I get them. Go to. I feel.
All right, what I told you was we start out at 47, go quarter point for 4 years. I'll tell you what. That's what I was.
Did you say 47, going a quarter of a point?
First year is 47, second year is 47 and a quarter. Third year is 47 and a half, fourth year is 47, 3/4. And then at the fifth year, it's 48.
And you're taking into consideration the time value of money of getting 48 for 2 years and 47 for 2 years, when you're only incrementally increasing it
All
by.
right, I'll tell you what I'll do then. I'll take your time value of money. We'll reverse it. We'll go 46 for 6 years and then increment up 47, 47, 48. We'll do the opposite. And end up at 48.
Say it again, Gary, louder.
46 for how many years?
6.
Basically,
The first
just
6.
invert what y'all.
Flip upside down what you saying.
Okay. 46.
You want to go 48, 48, 47, 47, and 6 at 46. I'll go 6 at 46, time value of money. And then go 47, 47, 48, 48
And that'll lessen y'all's impact
initially.
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 All right, come on. Get off of it, Mayor.
I'm gonna walk out of this room, 'cause I'm getting off
46.
of it. Let's go.
Oh, you taking that?
No,
Which one, what, you know what?
no, I'm not taking that. That was our last offer. That was truly, that's where we're at. And that's comfortable. It's a win for everybody as much as you can have a win. Good negotiation. We all walk out a little bit, not feeling good about it,
I'll
right?
give you the same
Well,
thing.
we're staying
I'll
at the
give you
same,
I'm not ending up where I was,
Well,
where I
I
am.
want to look at the numbers first. Cause I'm not, I need to see the numbers.
I'm telling you, well, you go, y'all
Let's
look it over
crunch
some
these
more.
real
Let's
quick.
go crunch the numbers.
basically, we're staying where we are now for
Okay,
6
You're
years.
just going back.
we kicked that poor lady out of the room, so we're still free. We'll be back. Okay, Gary, 6 at 46, 2 at 47, 2 at 48.
Next year's
Yeah.
47 for the next 2 years, and ending at 48.
The inverse of what y'all did.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, let's go home.
Yeah. Gary? Who puts the notes
Now, hey,
out?
let's get some clarity right now before we get.
Yeah,
before we
I
get
have,
too
I
far gone.
filed with the state.
Okay.
We need to know, y'all need to let us know, because we